Alexander Isak has finally been spotted in Liverpool for the very first time as the long-awaited £130 million transfer edges closer to official confirmation. The striker's arrival marks a historic moment in British football, not only smashing Liverpool's transfer record, but also rewriting the record books of English football on a dramatic deadline day that has left fans around the world glued to their screens. After months of speculation, frustration, and tension between the player and his now former club Newcastle United, the saga has reached its breaking point, and the Swedish star has arrived at Melwood to undergo his medical ahead of signing a 6-year contract that will see him become the most expensive signing in Premier League history. The images of Isak stepping out in Liverpool sent shockwaves across the footballing landscape, igniting wild celebrations among Reds supporters who believe the 25-year-old will spearhead the next era of dominance at Anfield. For Liverpool, this deal represents not just another high-profile acquisition, but a major statement of intent. Isak becomes the 8th first-team signing of what has already been a blockbuster summer for the Merseyside Giants, with the club earlier smashing their own transfer record to bring in Florian Wirtz for £116 million from Bayer Leverkusen. Now they have gone even bigger, making Isak the crown jewel of their transfer business. To think that only weeks ago Newcastle were insistent the striker was untouchable makes today's developments even more remarkable. Liverpool's initial £110 million bid was dismissed without hesitation, and yet the persistence of new sporting director Richard Hughes and manager Arne Slot has paid off in the most dramatic fashion. Newcastle eventually relented under mounting pressure, with Isak making it clear he felt promises had been broken regarding his future and refusing to train or play as the impasse dragged on. Liverpool fans have waited anxiously all summer for that marquee striker signing, someone to carry the legacy of Roberto Firmino while complementing Mohamed Salah and Darwin Núñez in attack. Isak, with his combination of pace, physicality, and clinical finishing, is seen as the perfect fit. His goal-scoring exploits in the Premier League last season cemented his reputation as one of Europe's deadliest forwards, and Liverpool have now staked their future on him leading their front line. The move has naturally forced Newcastle to scramble for a replacement, and Standard Sport reports they have reached an agreement with Brentford for Yoane Wissa in a deal worth up to €55 million. It is a bittersweet moment for Magpies fans who adored Isak's flair and energy, but now must accept the club's hand was forced. But the drama does not stop there. While Isak's record-breaking arrival dominates the headlines, Liverpool's transfer activity is far from complete. Reports across multiple outlets suggest that the Reds remain locked in negotiations to bring in Crystal Palace captain Mark GUIHI before the 7 p.m. deadline. The 23-year-old England international has been the subject of Liverpool's interest all summer, but progress seemed to stall after a £35 million offer was rejected over the weekend. Palace manager Oliver Glasner has been desperate to keep hold of his defensive leader, especially after already losing Eberechi Eze earlier this summer for a staggering £68 million. Yet GUIHI, whose contract runs out next summer, is reluctant to commit to a new deal, leaving Palace in a precarious position. Liverpool, sensing an opportunity, have quietly put their medical staff on standby in London, ready to swoop should Palace decide to cash in at the last minute. This is deadline day in its purest form: tension, uncertainty, and the possibility of a dramatic twist, even as the clock ticks down. The Reds know GUIHI would be an ideal long-term addition, bolstering a defense that has sometimes looked fragile in recent seasons. With Virgil van Dijk approaching the twilight years of his glittering career, GUIHI could provide the solidity and leadership required to guide Liverpool's next generation. The context of this pursuit is fascinating. Only last night, GUIHI scored a spectacular strike for Palace in their victory over Aston Villa, a performance that reminded everyone just how valuable he is. Glasner, speaking after the match, made his stance crystal clear, insisting that losing GUIHI without a replacement would jeopardize Palace's entire season. Yet chairman Steve Parish faces the harsh reality that letting the defender leave for free next summer would be a devastating financial blow. The club had already turned down more than £60 million from Newcastle in the past, but circumstances have changed. Liverpool's £35 million offer remains on the table, and the decision now rests on whether Palace blink in the final hours. Meanwhile, the wider Premier League transfer market is buzzing with activity. Arsenal are finalizing a loan-to-buy move for Bayer Leverkusen's Piero Hincapié, while sending Fabio Vieira and Albert Sambi Lokonga to Hamburg. Reiss Nelson, once touted as Arsenal's next big thing, has opted for Brentford in search of more playing time. Manchester United have chosen Seny Lamens as their new goalkeeper rather than pursuing a deal for Emi Martinez, while Manchester City prepare to officially unveil Gianluigi Donnarumma in a blockbuster signing that few saw coming. Chelsea, on the other hand, continue to stumble through a chaotic striker situation. Nicholas Jackson's proposed move to Bayern Munich looked dead in the water last week, but reports suggest it may now be revived. Meanwhile, Mark Vu has been recalled from Sunderland following an injury to Liam Delap, leaving the Blues scrambling for solutions. They are still expected to finalize the loan signing of Facundo Buonanotte, though hopes of prizing Fermin Lopez from Barcelona have collapsed. Tottenham are closing in on the signing of Randal Kolo Muani, a move that could give Ange Postecoglou the firepower needed to push Spurs into the top four. Across the league, clubs such as West Ham, Crystal Palace and Fulham remain highly active as the clock ticks down. But no matter what else happens on this whirlwind of a deadline day, the focus remains firmly on Liverpool. The sight of Alexander Isak in Merseyside is more than just a transfer signing. It is a symbol of ambition, of the club's determination to return to the summit of English and European football. Anfield has witnessed countless great forwards, from Ian Rush to Fernando Torres, Luis Suarez to Mohamed Salah. Now a new name prepares to join that elite list. Fans will dream of Isak leading the line under Arne Slot, combining with Wirtz in midfield, Salah out wide, and an attacking force that could terrify defenses across Europe. The excitement is palpable, but so too is the sense of urgency. Will Liverpool manage to land Guihi in time to complete what would be one of the most spectacular deadline days in the club's history? Or will Palace dig in their heels and risk losing their captain for nothing next summer? The only certainty is that this day will be remembered for years to come. The British transfer record is shattered. The Premier League landscape has shifted, and Liverpool, once again, have stolen the show.